Okay, so experiments to test the rate of photosynthesis. Generally, when you do an experiment of a chemical reaction, you are going to either measure the rate at which the reactants are used up or the rate at which the products are formed. If we look at the photosynthesis equation, carbon dioxide plus water goes to glucose plus oxygen. So you could follow the rate at which carbon dioxide is used up by following the pH of a reactant mixture, because as the concentration of carbon dioxide declines, then the pH will increase. But that would be relatively complicated. You can't follow the path of water because, as I've explained before, water is used too freely within the plant. You could indirectly measure the production of glucose by looking at the increase in biomass. So essentially by looking at growth and using that as an indirect measure of photosynthesis. But probably the most straightforward thing to do is to look at the rate of oxygen production. If you're going to do this, the way that we need to do this is by using a water-based plant, because then you can trap the oxygen. If we just used a plant in the air, it's difficult to capture the oxygen that is released. So you use a water-based plant like pondweed or the Elodea species, and you put that in a beaker full of water, you put some kind of filter funnel over the top of it, and then a measuring device on top of the filter funnel. Everything is full of water, and then as the Elodea produces oxygen, that bubbles up and is then trapped in the measuring cylinder, and you can measure how much gas is released in a certain time. You can change the conditions of this experimental setup, so you could change the temperature, you could change the carbon dioxide concentration by using a chemical called sodium hydrogen carbonate. You could change the pH, you could change the light intensity. Interestingly, when we measure light intensity, because lamps tend to release heat as well, what you would also do is you would add another beaker just of plain water, and then you would have your lamp, okay? And you could move the distance of the lamp nearer or further to represent light intensity. But the reason you have water here is so that as the light flows through here, this is what warms up, if it does warm up, and this doesn't warm up. So you're only measuring light intensity.